In our ongoing exploration of seminal works in literature, we turn our attention to Crime and Punishment, a novel by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Published in 1866, this extraordinary novel dives deep into the moral universe, drawing us into a world of ethical debates, philosophical dialogues, and ultimately, an intense examination of human nature. Crime and Punishment is an extensive novel, a tale of suspense and moral quandaries set against the gritty background of street Petersburg in the 19th century. The novel revolves around the story of Rodion Raskolnikov, a former law student living in extreme poverty and mental agitation. His deep contemplations about his state and society eventually lead him to consider an act of terrible magnitude. Raskolnikov's theory, which forms the central idea of the novel, proposes that extraordinary individuals have the right, even the duty, to transgress moral law if their actions benefit humanity as a whole. He believes that some people, like Napoleon Bonaparte, are so superior that they are above societal rules that govern ordinary humans. He perceives himself to be one such individual. This idea becomes an obsession, dragging him to plot the murder of an elderly pawnbroker, Alyona Ivanovna. He views Alyona as a parasitic figure who contributes nothing to society and justifies his actions, believing that the removal of such an individual and the proper use of her wealth can provide greater good to society. He commits the act, but things don't go as planned. In the process, he also kills Alyona's half-sister, Lizaveta, an innocent who unexpectedly walks in on the crime scene. His meticulously devised plan collapses into chaos, and he barely escapes without being caught. Haunted by the murders, Raskolnikov descends into a fevered state, vacillating between extreme guilt and attempts to maintain his extraordinary man theory. This internal struggle forms the central theme of the novel, with the crime's psychological and moral implications explored from different angles. Dostoevsky plumbs the depths of Raskolnikov's conscience, juxtaposing his arrogant justifications with profound self-loathing and guilt. Raskolnikov encounters a range of characters that play crucial roles in his redemption process. Among them, Sonia Marmeladov, a prostitute who becomes his confidant and moral compass, is significant. Despite her unfortunate circumstances, Sonia maintains her faith in God and human goodness. Her influence gradually induces Raskolnikov to accept his crime's moral implications, leading him on the path of atonement. Simultaneously, Raskolnikov is pursued by the tenacious police investigator, Porfiry Petrovich, who through a series of psychological mind games becomes increasingly suspicious of Raskolnikov. Despite insufficient evidence to arrest him, Porfiry continually tries to provoke a confession. In a crucial scene, Raskolnikov is invited to the police station. He thinks he's been summoned for the murders but soon discovers that it's about a minor matter. This incident causes a massive internal crisis for Raskolnikov, further escalating his fear and guilt. Raskolnikov's mother, Pulcheria Alexandrovna, and his sister, Avdotia Romanovna, Dunya, are also integral to the narrative. Dunya becomes embroiled in her subplot, involving Arkady Ivanovich Skudrygailov, a former employer who harbors scandalous intentions towards her, and Pyotr Petrovich Luzhin, a self-centered man whom Raskolnikov's mother hopes Dunya will marry to alleviate their poverty. In the climax of the novel, Sonia, wielding a New Testament, manages to persuade Raskolnikov to confess his sins and seek redemption. She believes that only through admitting guilt and enduring the ensuing punishment can he find peace and salvation. Struggling with his ego and belief system, Raskolnikov finally concedes, deciding to confess and accept his punishment, thus affirming his humanity over his notion of being an extraordinary man. Dostoevsky concludes with an epilogue in which Raskolnikov, serving his sentence in a Siberian prison, begins his journey of spiritual regeneration through Sonia's unwavering support. We are left to consider the transformative power of love and redemption, culminating the exploration of crime and its consequential punishment. Crime and Punishment is a psychologically charged novel that explores themes of guilt, morality, and redemption. The narrative delves deep into Raskolnikov's mind, chronicling his motivations, fears, and the haunting consequences of his actions. His character is a complex interplay of brilliant intellect and deeply troubled psyche, illustrating Dostoevsky's exploration of the human condition. Dostoevsky employs his characters masterfully, using them to reflect the facets of society and various aspects of human nature. Sonia symbolizes sacrifice and redemption, while characters like Svidrigailov and Luzhin represent selfishness and lust. Each character, thus, serves a greater purpose in the novel, contributing to the psychological and moral drama. Dostoevsky's exploration of Raskolnikov's theory is central to understanding the novel. The notion of an extraordinary man allowed to commit crimes for the greater good reflects the moral conflict inherent in utilitarianism and poses a potent critique of Nietzschean philosophy. However, Dostoevsky doesn't leave his protagonist in this morally gray area. Through Raskolnikov's experiences, the reader is presented with a critique of this egocentric worldview. His ultimate confession and acceptance of punishment signify a reaffirmation of shared human morality, emphasizing the power of guilt and the need for atonement. The narrative style is immersive, full of suspense and psychological insight, presenting a vivid panorama of 19th-century Russian society. Dostoevsky's social commentary touches on various issues like poverty, mental illness, and morality, making Crime and Punishment not just a compelling story, but a profound philosophical and sociological treatise. In conclusion, Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky is an immersive exploration of philosophical debates and an in-depth psychological study of a man torn by his conscience. This novel is more than a story. It is a journey into the human mind, a profound commentary on society, and an exploration of moral philosophy. To those unacquainted with Dostoevsky's work, this novel serves as a brilliant introduction, illuminating the breadth and depth of his understanding of humanity. For those familiar, it offers further proof of his narrative genius and psychological insight. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into Crime and Punishment. If you appreciate these literary explorations and wish to delve deeper into the world of classic literature, please subscribe to the channel. Your support encourages us to continue creating content that fosters understanding and appreciation of these timeless works. Until our next literary journey, stay curious and keep exploring the vast landscapes of human imagination.